Hi there, welcome to another episode of Dutchman's. So in this one we're going to be looking at this pink lemonade blueberry, and if you're anything like me, that you're looking at your trees and shrubs all year and you're like, I really wish I could prune that, or I really wish I could, just do that now, and rather than having to wait until they're dormant. Well, this is definitely one of those situations. I've been looking at this shrub the entire growing season and just wanting to prune it. Well, it's finally dormant and we're finally getting to do it. So the first thing is the branches down low that are shooting way up in the canopy, and I'm gonna just take them off. I was originally gonna leave them, but I just don't think they're really adding anything, so I'm just gonna take them off now. There's also a lot of growth on one side in particular, on this side, and I'll be correcting that as well. So it's gonna look like I'm actually pruning it quite a bit, which I really am. Ideally, you don't want to go more than a third. It might be a little bit more in this instance, but I really feel like I have to do it, so let's just get to it. And the ground is frozen solid. We had our first wintry weather last night, and it's supposed to be lasting for all week actually, but it took a while to get there. So the first one I'm going to look at is this one. It's this it shoots way up into the canopy, and then there's another one that's behind here. So those two are gonna have to go. I would ordinarily say I'm gonna try to scrape off some of that soil, but man, it is really hard to loosen up this soil here. Maybe I could try to wiggle it loose. I even thought maybe this was a separate plant entirely and I could just rip it out, but I don't think it's gonna happen. So let's try to break up soil a little bit. That's working out okay. Because I want to go down as far as I can. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. All right. So as down low as I can, take this guy out. That's the first one. Make a pretty decent cutting. Alright, there's another one right next to it. Let's get to that one now. Alright, just gonna go in there. This is not the best for your pruners, but you know what? They're meant to be used, right? Alright, another one. Perfect. It's gonna cover that back up, and hopefully it'll just essentially die off and decompose. So the next part I'm gonna look at is over here. You can see, first of all, it's crossing this side branch here, which I really don't like. It's also coming down really low, which I'm okay with because it is a shrub after all. But I want it to be kind of growing in its own direction. And I'm gonna have to do some directional pruning to get it there. So these little red nubbins indicate where the new bud is gonna form and what direction it's gonna grow. So in this case, I have a little nub right here, which comes out this way, which is going to be away from the center of this trunk. You want to always have everything fanning outwards. So in this case, I'm just going to prune it right up here and see how that develops. I might take it off entirely in the future, but for now this should be fine. There's a similar case back here, and I have a nub that faces outward all the way down below here, and I'm just gonna do that. I'm okay with that. That'll give everything plenty of room to grow. Like if it goes out here, then it has all this open space here, which is great. Okay, see this? Up here is a branch that's growing in towards the center. This guy right here. I don't want that, so I'm just gonna take that off entirely. Just like that. There is a little bit of dead wood in here. You can really remove that at any time. But I decided to wait so I could show you. But like right here, you can remove that really anytime. It's probably just got shaded out. So you can see that a lot of the growth is heading out left and not very much right. So I want to correct this, and I'm going to take this branch all the way back down to this. Actually, I could leave it a little longer. To this branch that grows up, because then it has plenty of room away from the center of the bush here to grow. So here I go. Let's prune that off. Just like that. So next I've got a lot of growth that's kind of overlapping like this. It's kind of bad. I really don't like any of that. I'm going to try to correct it the best way I can with directional pruning. So over here I've got a nub, and I'm going to just prune it down to that, because I'll get it facing this way. Alternatively, I could just prune it off entirely, but I'm going to try to hold on to it if I can. Same thing with the one above it. The little nub that kind of, it's not going to focus. This little nub that grows up. So I'm just going to prune it down to that. This branch back here, it's growing in towards the center. I'll probably just take this off entirely. Like so. So it's crossing pretty bad. The nub right here. I will also clarify that all these little buds that you see on them, that's all going to be flower buds, which are going to be your fruit. So yes, I am taking off a fair amount of flower buds as well, and that's just unavoidable. There's just not much you can do about it. Sometimes that's just what has to be done. This is a good example. 2 flower buds right at the end of this, but I'm gonna have to prune it back a little bit so it doesn't cross. And alternatively, you could leave some of that on and just kind of deal with it, but I'm just gonna decide to take it off and favor the training of the shrub here. There's a shrub or a branch growing inward here. You see, right towards the middle. It's very bad. I'm gonna prune that off. This I'm gonna leave because it's still kind of growing upwards at least. Let's take a look here. Like, once it gets to the top, I'm not as worried about stuff growing in towards the middle, because I still want the center to be filled in as well. So in those situations, I'm not too worried about it. The branch growing up, it's not ideal, but it has flower buds on it. I don't want to take all my fruit off, so I'm just going to leave that this year. But more than likely, since it is growing up so far down the main trunk here, I probably will take it off next year. There's a branch growing in towards the center here. See this guy? But there's another branch right below it that is growing in a good direction. So let's just easily redirect that and taking that tip off. So the last thing I'm going to do is just redirect this branch back here, rather than having it come out where all the foliage is. I'm just going to redirect it out this way. The branch that I've already got right here. Just like so. And that's all the pruning I'm going to do on this blueberry this year. Alright, so that was all for the pink lemonade blueberry. I hope you guys got something out of it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Tot de volgende keer.